I mean, isn't that most Scooby-Doo episodes? It's just like, I'm a small business owner, and I don't like change. 1976. Scooby-Doo transitioned from being on CBS to ABC, and it was kind of a hot mess. The Scooby-Doo Show, as it was now called, was an umbrella name for a host of shows with Scooby-Doo involved. There was a combination segment with Dynamite, there was Scooby's All-Star Laugh Olympics, 2 F's in Laugh, and it was essentially just Hanna-Barbera squeezing as much viewership as they could out of their various popular IPs. Goodness knows we haven't seen that one before. And then there were just more episodes that were called Scooby-Doo, Where Are You?, even though they'd already transitioned to the new network. Now what this means is they did zero to update the gang's production design because they wanted them to essentially blend in. They actually ran CBS reruns as part of the new content from ABC with Scooby-Doo. So that means in 1976, despite 8 years passing, we don't get an updated Daphne look, and that's unacceptable. I'm here to rectify that. My name's Grace, and these are the decades of Daphne. Let's talk fashion. The 70s took a lot of inspo from a lot of different eras. It took inspiration from the 30s and the 40s and the late Victorian era. The prairie look emerged, which essentially ran so that cottagecore could sprint into a plate glass window. The look was big throughout the first half of the 70s. It overtook, but it still held tight all the way up to the end of the 70s. In fact, in 1979, Ralph Lauren put out an entirely Western line. Garments got looser, less structured, hemlines got longer, ending the reign of the miniskirt. With all that said, I've chosen this pattern for a shirt and skirt combo for Daphne's 70s look. I think it really has those elements that we saw throughout the decade of prairie, while incorporating some of the more general trends of looser garments and more flowing designs. We're really gonna juice up the prairie-ness by adding a micro-floral contrast and some trim on the shirt itself and the skirt. Speaking of trim, is this gonna work? I have absolutely no idea. But you don't learn by not doing things. So let's give it a go. What is it, you ask? Grand question. I couldn't really find the colors I was looking for in trim, and I didn't want to wait to get something off the internet to arrive, because goodness knows it could be 2 days or it could be 3 months. So what I do have just on hand is some lovely, oh, this straight up is clipped in, hold on. White, sort of unbleached cotton trim, and a dollar store tie-dye kit. My massive brain idea here is that I could just make green from teal and yellow and do a really light pink if I really water it down, because this was $150, and I didn't really terribly feel like going to the craft store and spending upwards of $10 each on bottles of dye for something that I'm going to be using very little. Let's see what happens. We're trusting the elephant today, and, well, we all know how I feel about him. I do like him. It's complicated. How are you supposed to...
Gotta get on down and out of this place.
Oh.
I need some space. Oh God! Well, I can't dance. I need to mentally prepare a few days in advance. Everybody seems to be having a good time with me. Maybe I'm not built for this. Anxiety. Why you guys are having fun? Now I'm gonna have to run. You guys keep on going. I've gotta bounce.
cutting the yoke pieces in my microfloral fabric. Then there was the behemoth. The 70s was also known as the polyester decade, so this polyester bedsheet will be perfect fabric for the look. But I think it's a king-size sheet. So to tackle cutting it, I'm gonna go piece by piece because I just don't have the free floor space to get it all unfolded. I felt extra smart with this because I used the hem of the bedsheet as the hem of my ruffle pieces. Work smarter, not harder. I also cut my waistband with a little extra length just in case, so that it'd fit for sure, because I'm not making a muslin. I stay-stitched the arm curves and then attached the sleeves to the wrong part of the bodice. I find it's a lot easier to mess up when you're not sewing the standard version of a garment that you're used to, and for me, a combo yoke and raglan sleeve was just a bit to wrap my head around. Nevertheless, I seam ripped and continued. Next, I attached the backs and the fronts of the yoke and its facing. I pinned the yoke right sides together with the shirt as my supervisor checked in, mainly to lick her butt on camera. I sewed, trimmed down the bulk, and got the sniff of approval to continue. Before adding the yoke facing, I did a line of basting around the bottom and used it to help pull in the wide end a little bit as I ironed the seam allowance down to the seam line. I'm not trying to beat the Wendy's spokesperson allegations. All I will say is, Wendy's, I'm talking to you, the ghost of Dave Thomas. Look into my eyes. Sponsor me. Welcome to day 2. Yesterday went pretty well, but my iron once again barfed water onto my fabric. It doesn't happen that often, so I'm starting to think it just specifically has a vendetta against Daphne herself, and I don't know why. Oh, that's better. Yesterday was really good progress. I was originally going to just have the goal of gathering everything, but then I got started and I realized you had to do a lot of construction before gathering. And the other thing is I don't really like how gathering stitches look, so I'm going to try and pleat everything where it says to gather, just because like it tends to be a little more even. Not perfectly so, but a little more anyway. We got a lot to do. I opted for the shirt and skirt option this time, which means I've got to make 2 garments. We basically have to finish the shirt today for sure. That's the main goal. And then just get as far as we can on that skirt because I want to be done. It is officially 1,000,000 degrees and I'm melting. It's still May and it's supposed to get to 30 degrees Celsius. That's this many American. Graphics Grace, I'm counting on you. I don't know Fahrenheit. Graphics Grace, please. The goals today. Finish the shirt. Get as much of the skirt done as possible. Chill. Eat ice cream of some variety. Oh, yes, this is the other thing. Okay, so I was so surprised at how good the $1.50 tie-dye came out. Now, if you're one of those people who think that this is yellow, I'm sorry about your mild color blindness, but I promise you it's green. The pink kind of came out a little more saturated than I was going for, but I did leave this for 3 days when it said to leave it for 6 to 8 hours, so that's probably my own fault. Brass tacks, tiger on the table, let's yell at it. I fully thought this wasn't gonna work. I figured that it just simply wouldn't work, that it'd all just rinse out immediately, and that worst comes to worst, it would destroy the trim. But I was really pleasantly surprised. I'm gonna have to iron it, but I'm quite happy with this. I think this is gonna be really nice accents. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to use the nice accents quite yet. But, well, there was one other incident yesterday too. I'll show you that. Hold on. Can you see me? That happened yesterday. I don't know how I managed that one. I don't know that I have enough fabric to recut it. What I might do is just hide it with some of this trim, or embroider it and then hide it with some of this trim, just to make my life easier, because it's so close. It's so close to the seam line that it's almost not worth worrying about, but it's just far enough up that I may just... You can't see that. What are you talking about? You can't see that. What is it? Nothing. It's bold and daring. We should all just become, I think, fun and funky color trim mummies. I would love to confuse future archaeologists with that. Maybe this will be the next Scooby monster. Just the trim mummy. This really does look like the kind of, bullshit costume that a small business owner who was attempting to thwart some kind of gentrification would pull. I mean, isn't that most Scooby-Doo episodes? It's just like, I'm a small business owner and I don't like change. On to finishing the top. I sewed the facing to the yoke, snipped the curves, and pressed the facing to the inside. I hand sewed the inside down very gently. I have a lot of zippers. I have no idea what color said zippers are. So let's take a look in my drawer of zippers. This is promising. A little short. This is promising. The exact same length, I think. Is it? Yeah, roughly. Water, and not a drop to drink. Ooh, yeah, okay. So zippers were a no-go. Turns out if you can't just say, I've got all the notions I need, it's fine, it's whatever. Because sometimes it's neither fine nor whatever. This is an invisible zipper, but also it is yellow. And if it shows, it's really gonna show. I feel like I am melting. It's like 30 degrees and it's still May. To finish up, I used a measuring guide to press a channel into the sleeves. Then I sewed them in place, leaving a couple of inches open so I could wiggle some 1/4-inch elastic through. I sewed that elastic together and closed up the seam. I hemmed the shirt the same way, minus the elastic. Next, I sewed the ruffle panels together in one big old tube. I don't know why, but I insisted on trying to style it like one of those Pinterest ladies with the scarves. I swear, I saw one of them fold a scarf into a functioning U-boat. I don't know how they do it. The internet is a marvel. It's hot. Like, it's really, it is May 31st, and it is 30 degrees Canadian. It is day 2 of being very hot. And I think yesterday the heat was kind of getting to me because there's nothing wrong with this zipper. This is a perfectly fine zipper. It's about, oh my god, it's the perfect length. It is the length called for in the pattern. There's nothing wrong with this zipper. I basically have 2.5 hours to finish the skirt. I think that'll be enough time. Who knows? If not, I will, I don't know, finish it up later. Oh, where am I going? So anyway, I'm going to try my best to get this all done today because it's physically possible. This has been a surprisingly easy project. I refused to do a muslin for this because it all gathers, baby. The only possible thing that could be a problem is that the skirt would be too long. And I mean, I don't think it's gonna. This is supposed to be a longer skirt anyway. And if everything gathers, it fits anybody. There'll be an upper limit, but if it's saying it'll fit someone very petite, someone medium-sized is not gonna have a problem. So today is about hustling through it, getting it done, and making it happen. I'm going to get off of my microphone and open the window back up because my air conditioner has not been installed yet. And as I said before, maybe for the 13th time, it's a million bajillion degrees. It's hot. And just because I'm a redhead doesn't mean I like it when it's hot. For the invisible zipper, I ironed the teeth away from the tape so I could sew it a little bit closer to the line. I used the invisible zipper function on the bottom of my zipper foot, but it was a bit finicky and kind of hard to use. If anybody's got tips, please let me know in the comments because I don't think I'm using this foot right. It often baffles me. I'm sure there's something I'm supposed to be doing that I'm just not, but I digress. I attempted to pleat and pin the ruffle onto the skirt for like a solid 10 minutes, and then just gave up and gathered it like the instructions say to. Sometimes they have a point. Then, I ironed the seam allowance of the inside of my waistband, pinned it right sides together with the top of my skirt, and sewed. I folded the waistband over backwards, sewed the ends of the waistband, flipped it back right side out, and then top stitched the waistband down. I think we have a skirt and a shirt. Now this is just basically constructed. It still needs that pizzazz. So this is where the trim comes in. But here's the thing. Would it be something involving Daphne and the Scooby Gang if it didn't have a bit of mystery? And I'll see you in the reveal. how this came out. I think it is so 70s. When I was at the gallery, I actually got a few compliments on my outfit. One person said that the colors really suit me, which I'm taking for code as you look like Daphne from Scooby-Doo, but I don't want to say that in case you're not cosplaying as Daphne from Scooby-Doo. No one actually said I looked like Daphne, but I know. I know in their heart of hearts they were thinking it. Because it was the polyester decade, this is definitely an outfit for temperature-controlled mysteries. I would not want to be doing this one out on a farm. So what do you think? Were you surprised? Was this what you were expecting? What do you think I'm going to do in the 80s? While I don't just make Daphne videos, this is a series and I do plan to get up to pretty much the modern day. So I wouldn't want to miss out on the fun. If you're trying to solve the mystery of what my 1960s Daphne outfit looks like, you can check that out here. If you want to join me on this wonderful journey, you can subscribe somewhere probably in my facial region or here. And if you want to keep the party going, you can also check out this one. Until next time, don't stop looking for clues, looking fabulous, or looking up your local elections. Do you have by-elections this year? I do. I'll see you on the flip-flop.